So, is 1 a prime number or a composite number? This one tiny question can either get you 2 marks in the SSC CGL exam or cost you 2 marks. So let's make sure you get this right every single time. Welcome to my channel. मैं हूं Ayushi Agarwal. Today we're going to tackle the number system and take it from 0 to hero level. This is going to be super helpful, especially for your SSC, banking, and railway exams.
So, what's on the agenda for today? Well, first we'll get the big picture of number families. Then we'll dive into the basic building blocks. After that, we'll tackle the biggest exam trap of all, prime versus composite numbers. We're also going to master coprimes, look at some really cool rank booster numbers, and then wrap it all up with a quick revision. Sound good? Let's get started. Every tall building needs a solid foundation, right? Well, in math, that foundation is really understanding the whole family of numbers. So that's exactly where we're going to start.
Okay, so I want you to think of all the numbers out there as part of one big family. We'll call them the real numbers. Now, this family has 2 main branches, rational numbers and irrational numbers. Pretty simple so far, right? Let's dig in and see what actually makes them different.
All right, this is where you see the core difference. It really just boils down to one simple question. Can you write it as a fraction? See, rational numbers can always be written as p divided by q, where q isn't 0, like 2/3 or even the number 3, because that's just 3/1. But irrational numbers, nope. You just can't trap them in that fraction form. They're these crazy, non-terminating, non-repeating decimals. Think of pi or the square root of 2. So the main key word to remember here, p by q form. Got it?
Okay, so now that we've got the big picture, let's zoom right in. We're going to focus on the numbers that really matter the most for your government exams. Think of these as our basic building blocks.
First up, we have natural numbers, and these are super simple. They're just all the counting numbers. जब हम counting start करते हैं, we always start from 1, 2, 3, and so on, right? So just remember this. Natural means counting, and it always starts from 1. Next, let's talk about whole numbers. Now, the only difference here, and it's a really important one, is one special member, 0. You just add 0 to that family of natural numbers, and boom, you've got whole numbers. It seems like a tiny difference, but trust me, this is a super common point of confusion in exams, so make sure you lock this concept in.
All right, now for probably the easiest ones of all, even and odd numbers. Look, any number that you can divide by 2 perfectly is an even number, like 2, 4, or 6. And if it's not a multiple of 2, well, it's an odd number, like 1, 3, or 5. Simple enough, right? But wait a second.
So here's a question for you. What about 0? Is it an even number or an odd one? सोच के बताइए. Go on, I want you to pause for a second and just type your answer in the comments below. Let's see how many of you get this right. I'll give you a hint. It's a classic trick question.
Okay, everyone listen up. We're now moving on to the most important section of this entire topic. Seriously, this is where most of the exam questions come from, and it's also where most students get tripped up, so I need you to pay really close attention here.
Let's put them side by side and break it down. A prime number, first off, has to be a natural number greater than 1. And here's the key. It has exactly 2 divisors, just 1 and the number itself. Take the number 7, for example. What can you divide it by? Only 1 and 7. That's it. Now, a composite number is different. It has more than 2 divisors. Like the number 9. You can divide it by 1, 3, and 9. See? The whole game is about the number of factors. And here it is, folks, the big one. The exam trap alert. Yaha SSC trap lagata hai. You absolutely have to note this point down. The number 1 is neither prime nor composite. And you might be asking why? Well, think about it. To be prime, a number needs exactly 2 factors. One only has, well, 1 factor, itself. And to be composite, it needs more than 2 factors. So you see, it doesn't fit into either category. I can almost guarantee you'll see this question.
All right, let's move on to another key concept. This one gets tested a lot, especially in the railway and banking exams. We're talking about coprime numbers. And trust me, understanding this will help you solve a ton of HCF and LCM questions way faster. So what exactly are coprime numbers? It's actually really simple. If you take any 2 numbers and their highest common factor, their HCF is just 1, then they're coprime. That's it. It just means they don't share any common factors besides the number 1. And here's the really crucial part you need to remember. The numbers themselves do not have to be prime. Look at the pairs 7 and 9. Their HCF is 1, and that's all that matters. That's what makes them coprime.
Let's walk through an example together. Let's ask, are 7 and 9 coprime? Okay, step 1. What are the factors of 7? Just 1 and 7. Simple. Step 2. What about the factors of 9? That's 1, 3, and 9. Now for the final step, step 3. Look at both lists. What's the highest common factor? It's just 1, right? So our conclusion is yes, they are absolutely coprime. This is exactly how you should break it down in the exam. Okay, get ready for a classic railway exam trap. Which of these pairs is coprime? Now, a lot of students will look at option C, 8 and 9, and they'll think, wait, 8 is composite and 9 is composite, so no way they can be coprime. And that right there is the most common mistake. You have to ignore whether they're prime or composite and just ask, what's their HCF? The factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, 8. Factors of 9 are 1, 3, 9. Their highest common factor is just 1. So yes, 8 and 9 is the correct answer.
All right, you're doing great. Now, let's look at a few concepts that can really give you an edge over the competition. I call these your rank booster numbers. Why? Because knowing them can help you solve those 1 or 2 tricky questions that other people might just skip.
First up, we have perfect numbers. So what makes a number perfect? Well, it's when the sum of all its positive divisors, and this is important, excluding the number itself, adds up to the number. Let's take 6, for example. What are its divisors besides 6? You've got 1, 2, and 3. Now add them up. 1 plus 2 plus 3, that equals 6. See? So 6 is a perfect number. It works the same way for 28.
Next up, let's talk about triangular numbers. These are pretty cool. You get them by adding consecutive natural numbers starting from 1. So the first one is just 1. The next one is 1 plus 2, which is 3. Then you do 1 plus 2 plus 3. That gives you 6. Then 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. You get the pattern, right? It just keeps going like that. They're called triangular because if you drew them out as dots, they'd actually form little triangles. Pretty neat, huh?
Phew. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground today. So now it's time for a quick rapid-fire revision to make sure all these concepts are locked in. Think of this as your perfect last-minute recap right before you walk into that exam hall.
All right, here's your ultimate cheat sheet. Let's go through it fast. Natural numbers, they are counting numbers, starting from 1. Whole numbers, just add 0 to the natural numbers. Prime numbers, they have exactly 2 factors. Composite numbers, they have more than 2 factors. And finally, coprime pairs, their HCF is always 1. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this. It's perfect for your notes.
So if you learned something new today and found this whole session valuable, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And of course, share it with any of your friends who are also preparing for these exams. Most importantly, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future sessions. Oh, and one last thing, don't forget to join our Telegram channel. That's where you'll get all the PDFs and important updates.
Thank you so much for watching and for learning with me today. I really hope this cleared up any doubts you had about the number system.